you are all really good. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, it is going to be my August reading wrap up. I actually cannot believe how quickly we are getting through this year. We're already in September, like midway through September by the time I'm filming this. It is absolutely crazy. My life is proper busy at the minute because I'm moving down to university in 4 days time. So let's all go here. But I am taking the time to sit and film this video for you. I didn't manage to read that many books this month. I only managed to read 5, I think. But you know, 5 is better than nothing, so let's get started. Some of them were really good too. Okay, so the first book I read was Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This was a 5-star. I really enjoyed this one. This has been one that I have been seeing on Bookstagram and the book community for such a long time, and I'm wanting to read it, and so eventually I did buy it and eventually I did read it. I really enjoyed it. The couple is so cute. I don't think this book was perfect, but the couple made it a 5-star for me. I have recently seen that there is a second book to this, and it's like a second chance romance or something, so they're obviously going to break up. I don't know if I want to read that. We'll wait and see. I really enjoyed it. The banter is spectacular. I love tropes like this. Childhood friends. No, they're not friends, are they? They're like rivals. I don't know. What was it? I'm sure it was rivals. It was really good. Anyway, I can completely understand the hype for it. A lot of people say that there are so many Taylor Swift references in this though, and so I was actually cataloguing them, and I don't remember how many I came across, but there wasn't actually as many as everyone said. But I really enjoyed this one, and I would highly recommend it. I love a good YA romance. Okay, and the second book I read, this was probably one of the reasons why I didn't read that many books this month, was A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name, so I apologise. This book, as you can tell, is a really chunky one, so this took me probably about a solid week to get through. There is a reading vlog up on my booktube channel for this book. It is basically just me sobbing for a half hour straight. It is so incredible. This book has actually changed my life. When people told me it was going to break me, I didn't realise it was going to break me quite to the extent of that. People are not joking. People are not overreacting. This book is traumatic. Please check trigger warnings before going into this, and do not take it lightly. I will always recommend this book. I will be incredibly praising of it, but please, if you don't think you are going to manage, don't read it, because it's dark. It is heavy, not just in the thickness of it. It has some really unsettling stuff. I'm absolutely fine usually with triggers, but even then, some points of this book I was like, I actually don't know if I want to be reading this right now. But it was spectacularly written. It was so emotively written and so lyrically written, but it was also really fast paced, which sounds ridiculous given the size of it. But it is actually a masterpiece of writing. I am very much a plot driven book kind of person. This was very character driven, but I didn't feel like that. It was just so riveting. I actually couldn't put it down. I devoured it. You got completely lost in these pages. It didn't feel as thick as it actually is. I've struggled to read much shorter books in a longer time, in a shorter time. I have struggled to read short books than this. Basically, please know what you're getting into before reading this book, but I would highly recommend it. And it did absolutely break my heart, but it is so worth it. It was traumatic, but it is an absolute masterpiece, and this is a piece of literature that I will never be forgetting. That was poignant. What a poignant review for a poignant book. I've said poignant too many times. Moving on. The book I read after that was The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren, which I also gave a 5-star. I really like Christina Lauren's writing. If you don't know, it is 2 authors who come together to write Rogue. We're not even that far into this video, and I've not even been working today. I don't even have an excuse. They come together to write rom-coms. They're always really good. I read the first one in this series, which is called The Soulmate Equation, and I enjoyed it. It was so hyped at the time, and it didn't quite live up to the hype to me, but it was still really good. I read this, it was incredible. I don't know why more people don't talk about this. I have seen it a few times, and obviously because the first one is really famous, all of their books get hype. This book is incredible. I absolutely love Fizzy as a main character. There is a bit of a reading vlog for this. I did reading only blind dates with a book for a week, and this was one of the blind dates I got, so that's up on my channel. I really enjoyed doing that video actually. It's quite a fun one to watch if you fancy going and seeing it. So I talk a little bit more as I'm going through this book. I love Fizzy as a main character. A lot of the time you see romance heroines sort of being a bit like, oh, he likes me, I don't know what to do, oh, I like him, oh, he's cute, you know, and sort of, don't get me wrong, I love it when the guy makes the first move, he falls first, you know, that sort of a thing, but she is so confidence filled and I absolutely love it. She is like your badass female character, but in a romance book, usually you only find that in like fantasies and stuff like that. Sorry, Luna is making sure that you see her. That's so weird, you just hear tail. Sorry. It is so good. She is an iconic character. I absolutely loved their romance. I love the concept of this book. It's so cleverly done and really original. I've not read anything like this. Really cute cover. I think especially because it was an incredibly good palette cleanser after finishing A Little Life. I sped through this. It was so escapist. I really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend this actually. I would definitely recommend it more than the first one, even though I did really enjoy seeing the first book's couple in this one, and there is a little bit of contingency from the first one to this one, but I don't think you need to have read it. It probably helps, and you've got a little bit of preconceived notions about the characters and stuff like that, but I don't think it's essential. But I just really enjoy the way Christina Lauren writes. I enjoy the way they write, and I really enjoyed this one. This is a very good romance. Sometimes romances are hit or miss for me, and for the most of this year romances have not been hitting, but that one really did. It actually surprised me. I thought I was gonna like it and it's gonna be like a solid 3-4 star, but I absolutely loved it. Okay, yes, so then the book I read after that, or I've been reading it for a while, I was reading it on audiobook, and I finished it this month, was Yellow Face. Oh no, I can't remember who wrote it. I'll put a picture of the cover up. definitely have seen it. It was really good. It was a 4-star. I think I always rate my audiobooks slightly lower because I'm a physical book girly, so I think I always sort of drop their rating down a little bit, and it would probably have been higher if I had read it in paperback. It's one that I have seen all over Bookstagram and all over the book community when it was released and everything like that, and I've seen so many people talking about it, and I think I remember hearing about the concept of it and was like, that sounds really interesting, but it's also not quite my type of book. It's not the sort of book I would be absolutely drawn to, but it was so good. It's genius. I actually really enjoy unreliable narrators and characters that you're sort of not sure whether the author wants you to like them or not. Sort of morally ambiguous characters. I really like that. So it was so cleverly written. I was definitely hooked. It is such an exciting concept and such a strange premise for a book to be criticising authors and the publishing industry so heavily. As someone who wants to go into being an author and would like to work in the publishing industry, it was certainly eye-opening. And I think it really toyed with that idea of being creatives, and I don't know, it just really made me think. Actually, I would definitely recommend it. It's not like anything I've read before. It's certainly original, which is ironic, but the way that the story came across and the way that the characters came to life, and I was just like, it's one of those books where you're like genuinely intrigued to keep reading because you're not actually sure where it's going to go next. It's a little bit strange and a little bit sort of out there. It's very genre bending. I would probably go for a literary fiction is what I would probably categorize it as. I can completely see why it had hype, and I would definitely recommend it. I think it's a very interesting read and one that I very much enjoyed. Hope you can't hear my voice. I'm a little bit ill, if you can't tell, but it's fine. I'm just a bit like choked up. Anyway, We actually only have one more book. This is not that long a wrap-up video. Sometimes I'm literally trying to give really quick reviews so that this video doesn't last for ages. But I have one more book. It is Mad About You by Vari McFarlane. Again, this was in my reading only blind dates with a book for a week video. So you've got my real-time reactions to this. This is a strange one. This is a strange... I've got a strange review for it. Not that my review's strange, I'd like to think, but it'll all become clear, hopefully. So I rated this a 3-star. I've read a Vari McFarlane book before. I had 2 on my TBR. I read one, I think it was last year, or it might have been the start of this year. It was definitely the start of this year. I think it was February this year. I really didn't enjoy it. I had high expectations. She is a very popular author, and I have seen a lot of her different books everywhere. I really didn't enjoy it for multiple reasons. I don't remember exactly why, but I just remember really not liking it. I think it was a 2-star. It was one that I felt like I should have DNF'd. So when I got this in the blind date with a book, I was a bit scared because I have purposefully not touched the other Vari McFarlane book on my TBR. Let me come back. Sorry, I had to go off and do something. Now I'm back. The camera is definitely not in the same place and I have no idea what I was just talking about. So, my thoughts on this book. The issue is it's good. As a literary fiction, it's good. But, so basically what I really enjoyed about it, loved the characters, really loved the feminist aspect of it. I really enjoyed certain parts of this. The plot was really good, actually. But my issue lies, this is marketed as a romance book. It's called Mad About You. On the front, 2 strangers, one big coincidence, driving each other crazy is just the beginning. The whole back bit, the whole blurb, that's what it's called actually, the whole blurb is romance. All of these quotes suggest it's a romance. Every single thing, the photo on the cover, every single thing about this suggests it's a romance book. It's not a romance book whatsoever. There is a teensy bit of romance, right? You get a little bit of romance suggested in the first 50 pages set it up to be a romance book. The only romance you get is in the last 10. Don't get me wrong, the romance in the last 10 is lovely. It's incredibly predictable, but it's still really nice. 2 things should have happened. Either she should have almost got rid of that completely, had little hints towards it possibly, not marketed it as a romance book and marketed it as a women's fiction, and it would have been really good because it would have fit that brief. But she's marketing it, her and her publishers are marketing it as a romance book, and the romance is not there. I enjoy the romance that was there, but there was not enough of it to be there to make it a romance book. Even if there had been the romance throughout the book and they'd still had this other subplot going on at the same time, I think that would have been really effective, because as I said, the plot that was there was really good. But to make it a romance and to call it a romance book, or to even say that it had a successful romance plot, it needed to have a lot more throughout the middle of the book. As I said, at the start there was hints towards it, and at the end there was a tiny bit. Yes, it was a lovely romance plot, incredibly predictable, and you know, there was none of this third act breakup and stuff like that. But you cannot have a book that is literally a romance book have hardly any romance whatsoever. This is completely how I feel about it. It was still a 3-star. As I said, I really enjoyed the characters, I really enjoyed the feminist stuff, all of the sort of finding yourself plot line. It was really good. I really enjoyed it, but it just wasn't what I was expecting, wasn't what it says it's gonna do. It's a strange one. It's a really strange one because it's a good book, but it's just not what it says it is. I don't know how else to describe it. So yeah, I would love someone else's take on it. I would love to know what someone else thought of it. Maybe it is just the way I saw it, maybe it's just my opinion. As I said, I've not heard anyone talk about it. That's just how I feel. Someone could completely disagree with me and I could be completely far off, but the way I feel, it shouldn't be marketed as a romance book, but it's still a good book. So a 3-star was where I landed on. But yeah, it was a confusing one. I got confused as to where it should be. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, that brings us to the end of this video. I would say that A Little Life is my favourite read of this month, although The True Love Experiment was really, really good as well, so it is a close second. But this book has honestly changed my life. It's a masterpiece. Yeah, I think this is going to be one of these books that in years' time will be getting studied academically. This is going to be this generation's classic, I think. It's quite something. So yeah, it was my favourite read of this month, and I'm very, very glad that I finally got around to it. It's been sitting on my TBR for ages. It was one of those that it was like, why on earth did I buy that? I'm never going to get around to it. It's so chunky. And then all of a sudden, I don't know where the inspiration came from, I don't know where the motivation came from, but just all of a sudden I was like, I'm gonna read A Little Life. And I did, and it was worth it. It was incredibly worth it. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, despite the pain it caused me. So yeah, that brings me to the end of this video. Thank you very, very much for watching. If you'd like to like or subscribe, that would honestly mean a lot, but if not, the fact that you're still here and still watching is mad. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all soon for another video.